Welcome back to the Be Forever Cool podcast. My name is Rex45, and tonight we got MotoGP, World Superbike, MotoAmerica, Loudon Classic, and maybe some BSB and TT, Isle of Man TT talk as well. But without further ado, let's bring the fellas in and see what's going on. Cheetah, welcome back to the show, man. How you doing tonight? How's everything?
Doing great, bro. How are you, man? It's been a pretty good week of racing this weekend. I mean, Road America. We can talk about it.
All right. We can talk motorcycling. Did you get to ride, do anything spectacular? Are you still recovering from vacation life?
Still recovering, man. I haven't gotten out the bike and put all the needed time that I need to get it ready. But I will here soon and get all the fluids changed, the chains lubed up, and put the tires on. I'm ready to rock and roll here soon.
All right, that's what's up, man. I can't wait to hear more. I'm gonna ask about how that hand is doing too, because they got to be ready as well. Luis Ortega, man, what's going on, man? How you doing tonight? Welcome to the show.
Good, man. How you doing tonight? How's everything?
Man, I could complain, but I won't complain because I hear it doesn't do any good, man. And we got to stick to the facts.
Yep, doesn't do any good. Just prolongs the agony. So might as well just let it go.
All right, no doubt. You ready to talk about all the action that happened in MotoAmerica and also what's to come in Aragon?
Yeah. Looking forward to what's coming up in the next week in Aragon. Should be a good race across all the classes. And this past weekend at MotoAmerica, a lot of interesting things, a lot of interesting happenings. So can't wait to talk about it.
I can't wait to hear what you got to say because I know I don't know, but I have a feeling it's going to be very interesting. And last but not least, we got Reese. Reese, I don't know if you've taken any painkillers for what's about to come from Lewis, because I'm pretty sure you're gonna you might feel like you're on the hot seat tonight. How you doing tonight, man?
I'm doing good, man. I appreciate the invite to come back, and I'm always looking forward to being on the show. It's been a long weekend, man. For Lewis, I'm ready for all the pain he's bringing, man. Ready for all of it.
All right, that's what's up, man. Well, with no further ado, let's do it, man. Guys, welcome to the show. As everyone heard, MotoAmerica happened at Road America. From my understanding, it's the largest crowd that's been at Wisconsin this year, for every year. So it's the largest crowd, but it seemed like Wisconsin's been the place to be bringing out most of the folks. We'll start with you, Reese, man. You got there, you saw the vibe. Was it as incredible as what we're hearing?
I think it was from what you guys hear to what it actually was. It was double. I mean, from what I understood from one of the reps, they said it was over 120,000 people, some crazy number. I mean, it was to a point where I tried to go to the bathroom and I couldn't even get down the line. I was like, yeah, screw it, I'm going to this porta potty.
Wow. That's pretty dope. Is that something that the teams take a notice of? I mean, outside of trying to get to where you need to get to lunch and all that, and the restroom and all that stuff, do you guys look at that and go, okay, this is a good look for MotoAmerica?
I mean, we take notice of it. Some guys can, some guys won't if they don't get out, out of the pit. But we do take notice of it. We've seen it during the autograph signing. I mean, those guys went through tons of, little autograph cards and posters and souvenirs. They went through all of it. So it was packed. Both days. It was even packed on a Friday for testing. I mean, just for practice. So that tells you something.
Man, that's wild. Lewis, Dainese, you guys showing up next year with like 10 tents?
Nope.
5, 3?
Not even bringing lanyards.
Okay. How do you guys look at something like that when the crowd is that large? And is there opportunities there overall, or is it just an anomaly because it's Wisconsin?
No, I think it's not a Wisconsin thing. It's a bagger thing. It's, again, if you look at every event that has baggers, the attendance is higher at the events that have baggers than the events that just feature the sport bikes. And Road America is like, Americana. If you looked in the paddock, when I looked in the videos of the paddock, I saw a lot of twins. I saw a lot of naked bikes. They outnumbered the sport bikes. And this is one of the main things that they got to look at. The bagger series is bringing more people to the track that aren't the core normal racetrack attendees. And this is why you get these big attendances. I mean, on Sunday alone, they had like over 40,000 people just on a Sunday. So if you have 20,000 people or 25,000 people on a Friday, you have about 30-something thousand people on a Saturday, and you have 40,000 people on a Sunday, you get a huge turnout for the weekend. That means you had a lot of people that either bought 3-day passes, which is great because that means whether or not they show up, they got a 3-day pass. It brings more attention to all the teams. So, it's kind of like a lost leader. Even if you put baggers out front, everybody benefits from the extra attention. And all this is really doing is, again, highlighting the fact that the bagger racing is an important segment that we have to pay attention to and we have to keep nurturing. There's a lot of people in the paddock that understand now how important bagger racing is. In the audience, a lot of people bag on baggers. But if you talk to the teams and you talk to the people that are at the paddock, baggers are now becoming a very important part of the overall show. And when they show up, the audience shows up. And when they're not there, the audience isn't there. Nobody's showing up to see Kramer bikes.
Okay.
But they'll show up to see baggers.
That's pretty interesting. And we've been talking about that for a little bit now. Cheetah, you're gonna trade in that Cowie for a hog, and you went to Road Atlanta. So I know you weren't at Road America, but remind me of what the crowd was like there, and what are your thoughts on how the series is growing, especially with in Wisconsin.
Man, if I was Lewis, I'd bring out a Dainese 10, at least one of those, man, next time. If you already know the baggers are going to be out there, you know what I'm saying? Get some Dainese gear for them. So, I don't know. I mean, the bagger crew was big even at Road Atlanta. So, it's good to see that they're growing. And whatever happens, they're still bringing more eyes to the sport. So, it doesn't matter if maybe they're not on sport bikes, but maybe their kids are watching and be like, Dad, I want a sport bike. I don't want a bagger. And they're happy to put them on one because they also enjoy watching them. I think that's the next generation to come. So there's a lot that's involved in that we don't see yet. That's yet to flourish. And I think it's cool. It's cool to watch anybody come just watch the sport. Heck, if you're on 4 wheels racing, come bring those cars out and come watch. Right. So I'm happy to see a drift crew come out and suddenly just start watching there because there's a Road Atlanta section where they do a drift thing. So they're always drifting across the Road Atlanta track. If you're ever at Road Atlanta, they got this other track across the street, Atlanta Motor Speedway. And I think Caffeine and Octane, that big organization, bought that. And they're always there drifting. So we're done with our track days, and you still see smoke. They're drifting around, going till 8 p.m. and everything. So, yeah, man, the more eyes, the better. So bring them all out is all I say.
That's what's up. That's the idea. As the goal is to build back motorcycle racing to where it once was. We didn't think we'd seen Harley doing it, but it seems like it. Let's talk about the Superbike race. Ducati got 1 and 2, and could have gotten 1 and 2 as far as race 1, race 2. In Supersport as well. Reese, man, what happened to you guys? Bobby Fong was on the podium, so I can't say you guys weren't there. I assume you guys expect a different turnout than what happened.
I mean, of course, we're always going to go there and win. I mean, we're not looking to go there and, get second and third. We want to, we're still one of the top teams in the paddock. But, I mean, there were some issues. I mean, they, riders, as Lewis knows, riders always complain about rear grip. But from what I heard, everybody was complaining about it. There was other riders complaining about grip. And, I mean, just sometimes you got to ride around certain things. So, I mean, that's where we were at. There was just some grip issues. I mean, everybody knows Road America, Coda, and a couple other tracks, like 1 or 2. It's a horsepower shootout. We're coming into that, but now we're coming into tracks that we can flourish and do a couple other things, and we'll go back to the drawing board and set it up and come out swinging again here in the Ridge.
Wow, that's what's up. Cheetah, we'll go to you on this one. The BMW, Cameron, he had a DNF, and I think in race 2, I got to check to see where he finished real quick, so I don't get this wrong. I should know it off the top of my head. 3. What are your thoughts on the BMW? And were you surprised that Heron was able to do a double podium?
Yeah, no, I mean, his babies are helping him. He's got those new twins, and it seems like that's his magic gojo juice. So, he's doing it. But I was actually surprised because I was expecting Cam to be up there and really be more so Heron chasing him or something like that. But no, it was a great race. For Cam, I didn't actually watch the second race. That's the one I missed, and I just saw highlights of it, and I saw that it was a Cam that crashed out, right?
Yep.
So,
Right.
so Cam crashed out chasing him, and that was crazy to watch because I don't know what would have happened and what lap that was on exactly. I think it was towards the end, right? So,
No, it was in the middle.
No, it was the
right at the
beginning.
beginning.
I was in the
Right
beginning.
there.
Okay,
If
okay.
if you
So,
actually watch it, the times where he was hawking him down, he had him. If he didn't tuck the
wow.
front, it was there.
Right, because starting off on race one with the Superbike, you saw Cam kind of fall back a little bit and make his way back up to the top three, but he just couldn't get that pace going to where he could pass Heron. But there were moments where he did catch up to Fong and battle him with him in race one, but ultimately Fong just outdid him. So yeah, I mean it's definitely interesting to see what happened to Cam there.
That's what's up. Lewis, what are your thoughts on the Superbike race? And Track Stars isn't here to talk about Ducati.
Thank God, man.
Thank God, man. I can't. Oh God, boy.
But I did see him post Heron on his social
Did
media.
you think he wasn't going to post Heron?
Listen,
You guys don't enjoy his facts, man.
He wakes
This
up
is
in the
gonna be-
morning ready to
it's gonna be
post
the
Heron.
last time he posts Heron. The only next time he's gonna post Heron is at Coda.
Okay.
Now Ducati can't handle the tight tracks.
No, I mean, if it wasn't going to be Heron, it was going to be Cam. I was actually expecting it to be Cam more than anything else at that particular track. But Cam had his issues both in race one and race two. Race two obviously had a bigger issue. Couldn't finish the race, but I'm glad to see that Bobby was at least able to keep it close-ish. I mean, he finished race one, I think, about 3 seconds behind Josh, and race two about 8-9 seconds behind Josh. So it wasn't like he was blown out of the water. He had some time to make up in the long straightaways and things like that, but he was still did what he could do. I was actually surprised a little bit by Suzuki coming in third place. I actually was kind of rooting for Benjamin Smith to catch Richie, but he ran out of time. He ran out of track. And then the last thing I was impressed by was the three Hondas. The three Hondas were right there in the top 10, back to back to back to back. So that's pretty good for Honda. Haven't seen that in a while. And they have three competent riders that are all battling pretty much against themselves in their own mini Honda Cup because they can't get away from each other. So that's a nice little sub-series within the Superbike class.
Did y'all ever find out what happened to JD Beach in the mechanical on race one?
No.
I saw he just went off track and then something happened.
Nah, I didn't see that.
Yeah.
What's crazy is what Lewis was saying about the Suzuki. And I think it was turn 13 right before you come up the front.
Right.
The motor, they actually almost blew.
Yeah, they blew it. Yeah.
He was hoping to get up there.
I saw he nursed it across the line, and he kept looking back like, I hope this thing has enough horsepower just to get up this hill.
That's pretty wild. That's what you call not giving up, right? Because some people might have just parked it and called it a day. Let's talk about the Super Sport race again. Ducati looked pretty good in race one with PJ Jacobsen. He kind of gave it away in race two. Blake Davis, which is a phenomenal win for him. He's a young kid that's coming up and coming. Correct me if I'm wrong. He's also a Dainese rider, so you guys must be excited about that. What are your thoughts? We'll start with Cheetah on the Super Sport races.
Yeah, in the Super Sport, Ty Scott kind of ran wide a little and like bumped into Blake Davis initially and like ran him wide or something like that, right? So it was crazy to see him, still battle it out. I think he came in like 15th, 18th in that race, if I'm not mistaken. But it was a great race to watch. I mean, Cam Peterson, bro, taking the lead over Matt Schultz was awesome to watch. I mean, that same thing repeated itself in race two. You saw a lot of battles there. And I mean, that was, I think, the most passes back and forth between the two, where with Blake and Cam in race 2, that was the most passing back and forth I've seen. Lots of lead changes. But for Cam to be on that Ducati and still catch up to these R9s, it's showing that he still got it, man. And I just wish he had his teammate, which is my friend, man, Riston Grigg. He's out right now, but it's super cool to watch the Ducati still battle it up there with the R9s. And I think Supersport's still got a lot of juice there, man. Especially at Road America, to see that many lead changes, very cool to see with the Supersport.
I agree with you. The lead changes was pretty dope to see. I was surprised. I thought Schultz was going to run away with it. I thought from the previous rounds, the R9 was going to kind of run away with it. Reese, you guys didn't come out on top there. Race 2, but not race 1. Were you surprised on how the R9 performed?
I mean, Yamaha said it. This was their test. This was going to see where the R9 test up to the Ducati. I mean, there were certain times that trap speed was off. I mean, it was surprisingly, because I think we were like I think the R9 was at one point like 155 coming to the trap, and then the Suzuki and the freaking V2 was like 161.
Yeah. It looked like the Ducatis had, as Lewis liked to say, Ayaguro's game pass cheat code, because Cam was running up on people on that V2, bro.
There was a little bit different horsepower, but then sometimes the trap speeds were right there, similar. So it was just weird. And then, like Cheetah said, I mean, in race 1, if to be honest, and just to keep it all honest, if Blake didn't get bumped by Ty, Blake would have took that one. Blake's speeds were faster than anyone out there. He was actually faster than anyone on the track. So I think Blake would have had that one. I think in race 2, to be honest, if Schultz didn't run wide in that chicane and cross, Schultz could have held him off. He could have held him to a point and held it off. And it's just, as you know, Lewis and Cheetah all know, coming up that hill, you get a hell of a draft, dude. It's a hell of a draft coming up there. But that's where he got the draft on Schultz right there. Turn? Yeah, coming up the hill. When you come up that hill, coming up that front straightaway, they always say that the guys say that there's a pocket next to the wall, which is absolutely freaking insane, because your pit boards are right there and they're just zooming by the guys on pit board wall and everything else. But they say there's a pocket there that they get a nice draft off. So it's like, I don't know where, but they say it's a nice draft. They get a hell of a draft going up that front.
Man. Lewis, we'll talk about Kayla. She finished 4th and 6th. Pretty impressive in race 2. No one behind her could catch her. She was kind of riding a lonely race. What are your thoughts on how she's performing? And she's still one of the youngest riders out there in the super sport class.
Just glad that someone's not here tonight. So I don't have to say this out loud, because I've always said that she has talent and that she's going to be in that top echelon. She's not going to necessarily be in the top 5 or 6 day in and day out, but she's going to be in that top 10. 1, she's got really, really good equipment. And 2, she has talent. When I want to see her compete on a regular basis in that top 5, but she's got to get there. Same way that, Blake Davis had to get there. It's not like he just showed up one day and was competing. I mean, he's at the front, and if you look at where he's at the front with straight killers.
Yeah.
So she's slowly starting to inch her way into that fight at the lower end of it. When she starts competing there in that top, again, the top 5 in this class, you're talking about a murderer's row. You're talking about ex-Superbike guys, ex-Superbike winners, not just riders, not guys that were in the pack just for the hell of making the grid, like guys that race for wins in Superbike. So when you get into that top 5 and are racing that top 5 on a regular as a young rider, you're proving yourself very, very well. I think Blake is doing a great job, and Kayla now is separating herself from that middle lower pack and starting to kind of ease herself into that upper pack. And I'd like to see what she does in the next couple of rounds, especially the next couple of rounds that don't benefit all the powers of the Ducati, but do benefit some of the powers of the other bikes. Like, how do you ride around when your bike's not in the best position to win? And again, this is what separates those top riders, finding a way to win when you don't have all the cards on your side. And once you can start to do that and put that together, then she'll be in that top echelon. Even if she's finishing sixth all the time, she's still in that top echelon, man. And as she can close that gap, she's going to start proving it more and more. But you got to ride around the positives and negatives of the bike, and then you got to start battling with these straight murderers, man. Like, it's a killer's row up there, man.
I mean, she's closer to them than farther away. So,
I mean, if we look at everybody that's behind her, we got a lot of guys that have experience. So we got Jake Lewis. Jake Lewis should not be on a super sport bike. That dude is like 17 feet tall and weighs like 300 pounds, man. Like, he's his own worst enemy on a super sport bike. I mean, Reese, you can tell me, how much does he weigh? I mean, unless he lost some weight over the summer, over the winter.
Nah, he didn't lose that much weight. He's still a big kid, man.
Probably like what? He's like 6'1", 6'2", like 200.
I'm 6'4". He's standing up there with me, man.
Yeah. What do you think? Like 2 bills?
I say he's like 2 bills, man.
All right,
I think
2 bills
like
on a super sport,
6'2",
man. That's not a benefit to you on a super sport bike.
No, you got to shed some weight. You still got Hayes back there.
Yeah, you got Hayes back there. You got Dave Anthony back there, who's a veteran, has been around for a long time. You got the Worm back there. You got Teague Hobbs.
Yeah, you had Larry Pegman back there putting in work. So you got people back there.
You got people back there that have, there's a couple guys back there. Max Van.
Yeah.
So she's definitely separating herself from like the middle echelon and pushing herself towards the upper echelon. So it's good to see, man. And I hope that she can continue this trend. Again, she only has to come in the top 8 on a regular basis, and she'll slowly start to compete with faster people, and that'll push her to go faster. Like, I've told the same thing to Blake Davis. Like, when he saw, damn, I'm Matthew Scott's teammate this year, I'm like, hey, iron sharpens iron. If you want to beat the best, you got to ride against the best. Otherwise, stay in the Twins Cup and keep beating up on kids that you already know you're faster than them. You want to step up and go right into the deep end of the pool.
Yeah, you got to step up. That's the only way to move. Something I saw on social media about the times that the baggers are doing and the super sport bikes are doing. So they're talking about a second apart. Super sport bikes a little bit quicker. Is that surprising to you, Cheetah? And we'll go with Lewis after. We'll ask Reese last because he's at all arounds, so he's going to have a different take. What are your thoughts on where the baggers are at? Is it impressive what the baggers are doing, or does the super sport bikes just need to be faster?
No, it's impressive what the baggers are doing until you realize how much they cost. Until you realize they got turbos in them and everything, and they're pushing it. So it imagine if they had like good smooth bodywork, like silky narrow, how fast they'd be going. Truly, they'd probably be going as fast as super bikes, right? Take off the saddlebags, make it. I mean, they're fast, so it's not that surprising to me. And super sport a few years ago would not have been anywhere close to this speed, maybe 5, 6, 7 miles an hour off with the old rules. So, it's not a big surprise. They're very close to each other.
Okay, all right, that's what's up, Lewis. What are your thoughts on that time? Yeah, are you ready for your bagger track bike?
Negative. I'm not gonna pay $150,000 or $60,000 for a bagger to go 1 second slower than an R6 that's well built. Negative. Plus, I'm increasing the chances of oiling the track, and I'm probably going to have to rebuild that motor as much as I would have to rebuild a 2-stroke. So, no, I'm not trading in my sport bike for a bagger.
Come on, man. The bagger belly pan is the smoothest belly pan I've seen on a track.
Hey, the only thing that's bagger about this, I mean, it's built off a bagger platform, but there's nothing bagger about these baggers, man. No. Like, it's all carbon fiber. It's all built out motors. You're talking about at one point, I don't know what they're down to now, but you're talking about $50,000-$60,000 Harley Davidson swing arm. You're talking about special triple trees. These aren't factory forks. These aren't factory. I mean, this is a super bike parts put onto a bagger built around a race bike. You know, the bike's lifted up. The geometry has changed. I mean, it's impressive for a 600-pound bike to be a second off of a 300-pound bike. But when you look at how much torque this motor is putting out and everything else, like you can see where it's making that up. It still takes up a lot of real estate on the track. So it's still impressive to see, you know, what they're doing and everything else. But I mean, they've got auto blippers. They've got this. They've got that. Like they've got a lot of technology that's on a sport bike. And then they've got really talented riders. Like if you look at the top 5 or 6 in this class, these are all really talented, proven riders, man. These aren't your boy off the street that just bought a bagger and took it to the track. What I like the most about it, like I said in the beginning, is it's bringing out a new audience. And anytime we can bring out a new audience and expand the audience, I'm all for it. You know, if it's got to be baggers, then it's got to be baggers. I got no problem with that, man. And I hate to say it, but if you look in the paddock, most of the guys in baggers are guys that are actually getting money to go ride versus there's a lot of guys on sport bikes that are paying to go ride. So again, if the riders can make some money, if more attention could come to all the paddock, to all the racers, I'm all for it, man.
That's what's up.
You won't see me one-on-one, but I'm all for it.
you might do a lap or two around if somebody said you can kick your leg over.
Nah. Nah.
Reese, what are your thoughts on the times, man? Do you guys in the paddock are looking at even paying attention to those times when you see them and seeing how close they are to the super sport class?
I mean, we look at them. I mean, it is impressive to what they're doing. I mean, it is. You know, but like Lewis said, you're not going to catch me on one that say, I'm going to throw my leg over this. And then when I actually heard the price of one, of like, I think it was $1.5 million. Yeah, some stupid number. I'm not paying
for the development cost. Yeah. From when they started to now, they've invested well over $1 million in developing these bikes. But I think they're like 200 and something K now that they've got all the parts together. Oh, maybe to run the program for the season.
I don't know. I know there's some crazy number, but you're not catching me on that. But what's crazy is I've heard from a couple of guys that do, you know, super bikes and, you know, a couple of guys now, it's easier to turn that bagger than it is to turn a super bike, which is actually impressive. They said you jump on a bagger, it's easier to turn that than to turn that super bike.
Yeah, but if you look at it, you can see like there's some things about a bagger that could tell you that even just by the handlebar position, because it's not your normal sport bike position. It's almost like a giant supermoto position. The way the handlebars are kind of a little bit more straight out and the way they turn the bike, like, you know, if you look at the way they're turning them, they're leaning them, but they're also turning them a lot old school style with the rear tire. Like they're not going in the corner and just like trying to break to the apex. They're actually like trying to square the corners up and square out of them to get that torque back on the ground, because that's where they make their rear power. At least that's what I see that the guys in the front are doing. Like they're riding them a little bit supermoto style and getting that rear end spinning a little bit like old school super bikes.
There's got to be a certain amount of factors that go into why it does that too. I mean, it's like different
force. They don't have traction control from what I understand. Like the traction control is wrist control.
So many things that go into that too. So
but when they crash great.
I want to point out people come to watch these you know sport bikes and you know super bikes that have bikes themselves, these super bikes, sport bikes on the street. They're coming out with their buddies and they're like, look, my bike can do the same thing, and they're like not too far off if they're looking at a super sport bike, you know. But these bagger boys are coming over there and they're like, yo, my bike can do that. And they're like, no, man, they're so far off from that. So
there's going to be a couple of guys that go try to take those bikes in canyons. And
that's what I'm saying, man. People are out there trying to drag their knee and everything. No.
But what I do hear like the guys that, you know, the fans that do come watch, they're like, oh, I'm going to watch the Super Bowl. They're like Lewis said, it's the different set of eyes that's coming to the race. So they get to see their brand out there, but then they're coming to watch the other brands and they're actually enjoying the racing. And just to piggyback off of Lewis, I mean, Lewis said that he saw more of the baggers or everything out on video. I think there was a lot more sport. I mean, there was a lot of baggers. There was a lot of sport bikes, but they were all hidden. Like they was like in the front part of the paddock, but then like if you go through the back section, they got this new beach section. They was back there. They was all through the trails. They was everywhere, and like the campsites were sold out. So
MotoAmerica camera crew made sure to catch as many baggers as possible. They're trying to push the narrative.
They're no fools.
Only go to the bagger parking
because the baggers had their own parking to the right.
Yep.
They had their own parking to the right, and to the left was all the sport bikes, and that thing was full.
From the overhead camera shot, you could see the two different parking lots, but then when they did the close-ups, they only ever did them in the bagger parking lot.
That sounds about right. That sounds about right. Yeah, they were out there. I give them that. They had their own little special parking.
Nice. So, I can't wait for the next round and see what happens. But let's move across the pond a little bit and let's talk about World Superbike. They had testing, I believe it was in Mazzano. Manzi was on a Superbike testing for Yamaha. What do you guys think of that? Is that to replace Ray? Sounds like Ray might not be there after his contract runs out. Is this a good look for Manzi? We start with Cheetah.
Man, I didn't even know Manzi was on the bike.
Yeah, he's on a super sport bike for this season. But because because he's doing so well, they're trying to get him because I think Locatelli signed up for another couple of years with Yamaha. So I assume because of the testing, it makes sense because he was a top Yamaha last year.
Yeah. So they just tested this past weekend or a week ago?
I think it was
this past weekend.
Yeah.
Yep.
Past weekend.
Where'd they test at Misano?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. No, I mean that's a good look for Manzi because then he's on the 1,000 now, right? Is he going to race that bike now for a race?
He said it's the best day of his life jumping on a bike and testing, and that's only testing. So I think if he can get a contract, I'm pretty sure he'll be happy.
No, I didn't know about that, man. I'll let Lewis chime in on that one. That's crazy. I didn't know about that one.
Yeah. They had a test this weekend, and he got off the R9, got on the R1, went out and tested it, did some good times from what I understand. I mean, during the test, they give you sometimes, they don't give you all the times, unfortunately. And it was pretty good conditions. I think they had a little bit of rain the one day, but other than that, it was pretty dry. And he was, according to what was said, it was pretty impressive on the R1. Like he was pretty impressive. I mean, the guy's a talented rider. There's no doubt about that. The guy can go fast. The guy looks good in Dainese. I can also say that. I was a little bit weirded out about the fact that he had a very plain looking Dainese suit because usually if they're wearing a plain non-designed suit, then it's something that wasn't planned out. It was something that happened in like the last week or two, because if it was planned out a little bit further, he would have like a more testing specific suit. So obviously this is something that Yamaha kind of put together probably in the last like week or two, and he got the opportunity to jump on the bike, and hopefully he takes the spot, man. I don't think Ray's going to stick around, and I don't think Ray's going to stick around anywhere because after Yamaha, I don't really see where he can go. Kawasaki doesn't look like it's going to be in the paddock next year. If they are, they're going to not be competitive. The Biamoto Kawasaki is coming along, but it's still a little bit further back. BMW might be looking for a rider because Toprak, it's rumored that he signed with Pramac Yamaha to move over to MotoGP for next year.
Right.
We'll see if that rumor pans out. But if that rumor pans out, that's a pretty desirable seat for somebody. I don't know if Jonathan Ray will get it, though. I think there's too many other options out there versus, kind of a senior citizen of motorcycle racing jumping on the bike.
What I heard, Lewis, is that VDS is going to add a second bike, so he'll be teammates with the Lowe's brother on a Ducati.
Oh, okay, so double the crashes.
The Brits are sticking together. What do you want to say?
So they want to double up the amount of crashes they have a year. I mean, if they got that kind of money for body work, Let him go for it, you know?
Right. I mean, that's the only place like you just mentioned, that's the only place left for him to go would be.
Yep.
I don't think BMW is going to, if Top Rock does leave, I don't think they're going to be looking for an older guy to come back and to ride a BMW.
There's too many young killers out there that could take that spot and they can grow with that rider. And there's a ton of talented riders in Super Sport, World Super Sport. So like, there's no reason. I know that there's another rumor that's going around now that Jack Miller has quietly signed with the Honda team in Superbike. So he'll be on the second factory Honda next year.
Okay.
And so that opens up a spot in MotoGP. So there's, the round robin of the silly season is here, and we'll see when the contracts actually get announced.
Yeah, we'll talk about that a little bit more. I heard a bit about that, but let's talk to Reese real quick about Manzi and testing and so forth. From your experience, when there's a test and you got a new rider come and jump on these guys' bike, is that sign that change is coming? Like that song, Sam Cooke song.
Plead the fifth. Sometimes yeah, sometimes no. I mean, there's plenty of factors. I mean, I'm not one of the big wigs. I mean, we can see it as a crew member, but sometimes it's about my pay grade. I just stay there. I stay quietly. Oh, you're new? Okay, let's go. Let's race. But I mean, it's a good look for Manzi. I mean, if he does replace Johnny Ray, that would be a very good look for him. And I mean, he's the next guy up, to get to that spot, I believe, versus anybody else. And, like Lewis has said, I mean, Top Rack is going to probably be leaving. So that opens up a spot over there on BMW. And Cowie, from what I hear, from what I heard, the Cowie team is not giving Garrett any more upgrades. They're not. He has to ride what he has to ride. And from what I also heard, the rumor mill is he wants back in at MotoAmerica. He wants back in over here in the States. So
that could be 2 seats.
Sure, he can get a bagger.
You'll be surprised on what you'll be surprised on what Superbike teams is about to appear.
Okay. All right. Well, hopefully you'll tell us before we get an exclusive, but we'll see how it go. Let's talk about these rumor mills. Top Rock coming into MotoGP. His birthday is October 16th. He's already 28. The guy will be 29 coming into MotoGP if that does happen. I think the last oldest guy to come into MotoGP besides Danilo and these guys was Zarco. I think he was turning 27 when he came into MotoGP. Is this a rumor that we should be taking seriously? When in the last 4 years, most of the MotoGP guys have been like 21, 22, pretty young. For them to start adding more senior guys as rookies, is this something that we should take serious? We'll start with Cheetah as far as Top Rock coming to MotoGP.
I mean, he's definitely shown interest. He's tested a Yamaha before, I think. So, he said that. He's once said that he will never come to a non-factory seat. So, I mean, is Yamaha offering him a factory seat now?
Not for 26.
Not for 26, right? So he's coming in a year ahead before they make the huge change. So I don't know if it's a great step for him. I felt like he could have just waited till 27, but he's wanting to take advantage of this opportunity now. Every year is a ticking time bomb and as a racer. So why not make the shift now, get yourself in the water, and, at least everyone's on a new playing field. Maybe that's his mindset for 27. If that happens, man, that's going to create so much excitement for MotoGP, and it's going to probably fizzle a little bit off of World Superbike, to be honest, because the only guy giving Bulliga that much heat right now is Top Rack. So it'll be interesting if he comes over to this side.
Okay, I mean, if Manzi comes in, he might give Bulliga a run.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts, Lewis, on that? I mean, is age a thing? We hear that Redden is his team is struggling financially, so here's a guy that might be available for a ride as well. If Miller's on a 1-year deal, and so I mean, I think he should get a ride over. I think he should stay in MotoGP over Oliveira because Oliveira has just been hurt. He's Grant Hill of MotoGP. He's a great guy, but can't stay healthy. What are your thoughts?
There's probably going to be a few seats that are going to be available in MotoGP. Like, I wouldn't keep Oliveira if I was the team hiring him. Like, just in general, the dude he got bad mojo. He needs to get bathed in some holy water or something. I think Fernandez is another one that has done nothing except burn tires and burn gas. Jack Miller moving over to World Superbike, I think that is a positive move for him. I know that it's probably not something he wants to do because he's showing some competitiveness on the Yamaha and he wants to stay in MotoGP. I mean, that's the big show. But if you can go over to World Superbike with the right team, with the right setup, and be competitive, I mean, he can kind of revitalize his career instead of just being like a middling rider in MotoGP because he's getting up there in years. He doesn't have many more years, so he's got to maximize on his name, his popularity, and try to get as much money. So if a team in World Superbike backs up the Brinks truck and says, we're going to give you this, this, and that, we'll give you a 2-year contract versus him staying in MotoGP and continuing on with these 1-year contracts, you take the 2-year contract. It's guaranteed money. You're going to be on a somewhat competitive team, hopefully, and you can almost rebuild and revitalize your entire career a la Alvaro Bautista. He was nowhere doing nothing in MotoGP, went to World Superbike, and all of a sudden, because he was on the right team and the right setup, he revitalized his career and squeezed another, 7 years out of what should have been the end of his career. Toprak coming over to Yamaha, Pramac Yamaha, does 2 things. One, it raises the profile of Pramac Yamaha. So as a team, it's worth the investment because you're going to get a lot of eyes on your team. So now you can sell all those little patches on your suits and on your bikes for a lot more money because people are going to be watching you because you're bringing in, again, a name, somebody, a unique thing. I mean, as long as he doesn't completely go bust, even if he just, again, top 10 guy, him being in MotoGP is going to bring over a lot of fans that he has. The guy does have a lot of fans. So it's worth the investment even as a satellite team.
Right.
What did surprise me when you said Zarco was 27 when he came to MotoGP. So my man has looked 48 for like 17 years.
Leave Zarco alone, man. Come on.
Yo, was my man ever a teenager? Like,
No.
Zarco and his dad, man. When Zarco won, they showed his dad, and he was like, "My dad has lost his front tooth. He had his front tooth for 52 years, and he lost it last week." I'm thinking, he's only 52?
He's like, yeah, way. Dude. I was like, wait, his dad's 52?
No, I think his parents are in his 90s. No, his parents are in his 90s.
Okay, no.
Yeah.
Somebody Google it, man. We got
somebody Google that.
You Google that
because that man look old.
Because if he's in his 50s, then he has Zarco. He's 61.
Oh, the dad is 61?
He was talking about his adult tooth probably. When he
Oh, yeah. Okay, wow. He looked older than 61. So
that's a DNA. That's some bad DNA in that family.
60's fine, actually.
He needs some moisturizer.
Oh, man.
I need to do that alloy lotion, boy. Good God.
For real, bro.
Listen, man. Hey,
not beat up Zarco.
If you're making decisions for Yamaha Superbike and you hear that Miller could be available, the other Fernandez, Raul Fernandez could be available, Oliveira could be available, and then you got some people in Super Sport that could come up. How you looking at who you'd sign for that seat in the second seat in World Superbike? Would you bring over a Jack Miller, someone who's proven that they can make a bike go quicker than after he gets there than it was before he was there?
I mean, it's always nice. They look at it like this. They always want, if you can get one vet and one young gun, that's what you want. You want that one vet that knows how to develop a bike, how to ride the bike, and it's still quick. But then you want that young gun to be under his wing to come on up, so that vet can teach. So I mean, somebody like a Jack Miller, I would go after. That'd be a perfect match for someone like a Locatelli to lock on with and let's go. That'd be a perfect match right there. Zarco's, he's not going anywhere. He's going to stay with Honda. But he's a good person right there because he knows how to develop a bike. His old self.
I think he's going to slide. I think he's going to slide into Marini's spot. To be honest with you, man, I
think he is.
Yeah, I think that satellite LCR Honda is going to go to someone else, and they're going to move Zarco into that second seat on the factory bike.
Right. I think that's going to happen too. And to answer to comment on what Cheetah said about Top Rank not going to a factory, if you actually look at it, Renz need to prove himself. Renz is about to be out the door. Yeah. So there's a factory seat that's coming up right there, and it's a perfect doorway. If you go to Primac, it, like Lewis says, it puts all eyes on Primac to get them all the sponsors and everything. 1 year there and slot right over to where Renz is at. Slot right in there and just perfect doorway. It's a perfect opportunity for him.
And you would slot right in just as the rules change and everybody gets on Pirelli tires that Top Rack knows how to go fast on.
Right. And with different rules and different
rules, with different specs. So you give him 1 year under his belt to get used to the tracks, to get used to some of the engineering and so forth. That's a little bit different than Superbike. And then in that second year, you slide him over to the factory team and see what he can really do as long as he proves himself in that first year.
Right. And if they don't get their shit together, like Quattraro said on a statement, he's out.
Yep.
He said it. He said, I'm out. He said the Japanese are real good, but they're just really fucking slow. He's like, give me my shit and I want it now. If you don't get it to him, he's walking out the door. So that could be another seat over right there. And if he leaves, you better get Top Rack because that's your only saving grace.
Hey, you need a name. You can't just have anybody that's fast. You need a name, man. Factory teams need names.
Definitely. Yes. Speaking of names, Ronaldi is going back to Superbike from Supersport. He was on a factory Ducati seat, then a satellite, and I think he was on a Kawi or something for 1 year, and now he went to Supersport, and now he's going to be back in Superbike. What are your thoughts on riders that? I mean, we see that with Schultz and these guys coming from Superbike in America going to Supersport. Is it room for these guys to come back to Superbike in America? And what we're seeing in World Superbike, where he's coming back to the Superbike class. And my question is he struggled in Supersport. So how difficult is it to ride a Supersport bike versus a Superbike where they had better results on a Superbike? We'll start with Cheetah.
That's a dynamic that's tough to determine because you have guys that are on super bikes, they're better on super sports, and to have it the other way around, he's struggling on the super sport. I mean, the super sport team might not just be as good as what he had, the situation, the mechanics, and the whole bike itself. So it's a lot that goes into it, and I think there's always room, man, for people to come up and down. It just creates this really. It's fun to watch, when these guys go back and forth, especially when GP riders go into, World Superbike. I was just thinking the top GP riders never go, right? They live, they're born and they die in GP.
Yeah.
But the mid-tier riders always make their way. Not always, most of them do though. They make their way into World Superbike, especially if they're cut short early in their career and they still have a lot of life left. So that's always fun to watch because the skill change is so different. The bikes are different. Do they just go there and manhandle these bikes? And so in that sense, I for sure think it's good to watch. And I think a lot of Rinaldi fans are going to be excited too.
Nice. What are your thoughts, Cheetah? I'm a fan of his. I was hoping he stayed with the factory team. And, when he got cut, I thought Ducati knew what he was doing, but then he struggled on the satellite and he's kind of struggled his way out of Superbike, but now he's found himself back there. What are your thoughts on Rinaldi?
I think, again, maybe he went to a super sport team that is not a top tier team, doesn't have the right people working there, doesn't have the right equipment. It just hasn't jived with him. I mean, he won several races in Superbike. He was very competitive in Superbike. And I think maybe taking that step back, a little bit of a ding to his confidence, plus going to a team that maybe didn't have the best equipment and it just didn't come together. A guy like this belongs on Superbike, and if he has the opportunity to go back, he can go back. I don't think he's going back to the greatest Yamaha team. Like Tito Rabat is not a slouch. He knows how to ride a bike. And if he struggled on this team, maybe it was a dynamic with him and the team that didn't click, or maybe it's an equipment thing. So we'll see now when Rinaldi goes there. He's got an opportunity to pick up where Tito Rabat left off, and maybe he can put some stuff together and be competitive on the bike. But if he's not, again, I wouldn't blame him necessarily, because sometimes you end up on a team that you just want to be in that class, and you might not be in the class of that class. You might be in the C grade class of that class.
Okay.
And you got to ride around whatever problems, happen until you can get an opportunity. Again, this is all opportunities. As long as he's in Superbike and he can be somewhat competitive and people can see him, there's an opportunity for him to move to a better team within Superbike.
Okay. All right. Reese, when do we start to blame the riders for a situation like that? When they get to Moto E?
Career's over at that point.
Yeah, you go to Moto E, just retire at that point.
Because there's a couple now that's in Moto E.
No, when they go to Alicia Spargo and join a bicycle team.
Moto E. That's wrong.
Is there a lot of pressure for the riders? I gotta assume it is. I mean, if you're in the corner office and they move you down next to the mop closet, you kind of feel away.
I mean, you do gotta feel some type of way. I mean, of course, a rider is never going to blame themselves. They're never going to say it's the rider's fault. They're always going to blame it's the bike. If the bike is competitive and it's in let's say top 5, is it really the bike or is it the rider? If like Bulaga's up in the top 3, let's just say if Batista was back, top 20, is it the bike or is it the rider? So it just comes down to where the bike is at. Some people be like, oh, the bike, like they could say our bike's not competitive. We all know that's a damn lie. It's just, it comes down to where it stands. You got to blame the rider at some point. Sometimes you have to just put the rider in their own perspective. Nah, we think it's you. Because at the end of the day, a tech, can look at all the specs and be like, okay, so it's not the bike, right? So why are you braking here? Why are you on the brakes here when you can be on the gas here? A computer is not going to lie and tell you, oh, it's the bike. And we can see that you're on the brakes longer than what you should be, so it's got to come down to saying it's the rider's fault.
So has a rider said, why don't you show me where I should be braking, Reese? Hop on a bike and show me.
Nah, they say that every day, but then the data guy would say, yeah, I'll show you right here. Look, they'll show you right here. Look, you're on the brakes. Oh, then that's when they look at you like, dang, I could get on the brakes off the brakes a little bit sooner. Yeah, you think so? The data guy is going to show you like, well, why is this line up? Why is your brake line showing that you're still on the brakes and you're not on the gas? He's gonna call you out. It's gonna get called out when you go in the truck and they look at the data and they're gonna be like, well, you're still on the brakes, dum-dum.
It's tough being a rider. Speaking of tough being a rider, let's talk about Martin. He had to come out and address the situation because of all the rumors, and who knows how all these rumors get out, because they're not calling me and telling me. So how has Martin handled his situation at Aprilia? Is this the kind of rider that you're going to sit here and say, if you're Honda or Yamaha, because there's only 2 teams that he can go on if he leaves Aprilia, how are you supposed to handle that as a team owner and stuff like that when you see this guy who, I think Oliveira deserves another chance in MotoGP. I think Ika Lukuona deserve another chance in MotoGP. There are plenty of guys that deserve another chance in MotoGP. Here's a guy that's somebody's leaking information about it, and to the point where I feel bad for Aprilia, and even the team principal, crashed in a race and jacked up his fingers. He's probably so stressed out. But how would Yamaha Honda supposed to look at, say, hey, is Martin an option for 2026?
Yeah. I mean, I'll just jump in, I guess. I mean, it's tough, man. I mean, how are you gonna be on one of those teams, Honda or Yamaha, and just sit there as a rep as one of the guys that selects as an agent. You're selecting these riders, and you can have to convince, your manager, your boss, whoever, that Martin's going to be a good pick. While everyone knows the reality of what's going on, it's weighing heavy on a lot of people's shoulders, and especially Aprilia. They've got to, and you were talking about, what does Aprilia do? What can they do? They just have to work silently and move on and tread on and keep working silently, and ultimately, he is their rider. They have to continue working for him and working with him no matter what, and the rider will continue to work for Aprilia. I don't, there might be a little bit more taken out of context, but the truth is he does want to leave, and he's given up very soon. In my opinion, it's not a good look. It's not a good look for his brand. It's not a good look for him as a rider. His dog mentality is at question. Overall, it's just, I wish he just gave it a little more time before opening his mouth. Think the thoughts, but just wait to talk.
Yeah. What are your thoughts? I mean, how do you guys feel when riders are not doing what's best for business? Because I don't think what Martin is doing is good for business overall. Maybe his business, but
I'm gonna look right in the camera on this one.
Oh,
riders. I'll be honest with you. One, a lot of riders are dumb.
Lewis, don't do it.
I'm gonna do it, man. I'm going hard in the paint.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
A lot of riders.
On contract. You on contract.
A lot of riders are dumb. A lot of riders think too much with their ego and don't put on their thinking cap, don't put on their money cap, and don't put on the cap that makes them realize how they look in the bigger picture. They try to compensate for all these things by having incredible talent. And they think because I have incredible talent, people are going to put up with my shit forever. And that's not going to happen. Eventually, talent fades or people get tired of your shit. One of the two things. There's a lot of talented riders right now sitting on the couch wondering, why don't I have a ride? It's because you're a dick. You did a dick move to enough people and they got tired of getting dicked over. And that's why you only have one or two options left. There's riders right now in MotoAmerica that are on their last option because they pissed so many people off. There's people in MotoGP right now that are on their last option because they pissed so many people off. As Nicola Bulaga, why is he in World Superbike?
Yeah.
This guy was a top contender. And for a couple of years, he didn't even have a ride. He had to take a super sport ride and reprove himself and change his entire attitude to be able to get back into the paddock. Luckily, he was young enough and talented enough to do that. But eventually, the receipts are going to come due and somebody's going to call you out. For right now, however, Jorge Martin is the reigning champion. He's proven himself for the past 3 years to be one of the best riders in the paddock, and somebody's going to put up with his diva bullshit. So he'll probably get one more bite at the apple. But remember, he's done this to KTM. Now he's done this to Aprilia. He walked away pouting, kicking and screaming from Ducati because they didn't treat him like the princess he was. And they already have one princess. They don't need a second one, man. So now he's got two options. He's got Yamaha and he's got Honda. Because he ain't going to KTM because they don't have money. Right. They wouldn't be able to, the check wouldn't even clear. Right. And of those two, everybody knows that the worst kept secret right now in the paddock is that Honda is trying to pay him as much money as possible. That's why he wants to get out of this contract early.
Right.
So Honda will probably do it, but I'm sure Honda's lawyers are going to double, triple check their contract, cross all their T's, dot all their I's, make sure that they close every loophole that he could possibly use to get out of the contract. And they might add some loopholes so they could get out of the contract. And he's going to have to sign that contract because there's not going to be a lot of offers that are as open-ended and as stupid as this contract that Aprilia gave him. Like, how did Aprilia give him this contract and agree to it? I blame Aprilia for this more than I blame him.
Yeah. Well, it's not just Aprilia because KTM did something similar because he was able to get out of that too. So,
yeah. But again, these are stupid conditions that you allow to put in a contract. This is what a contract is about. You go through every single line item and you decide, is this the hill I want to die on? And I don't want to die on this hill. I'll let the rider have this. Well, don't be upset when the rider turns around and uses your contract against you. So, you put this provision in there. You allowed for it to happen. The rider took advantage of the provision. Now, with that said, I actually feel like he's getting away with murder because by the end of the year, he might do 8 rounds on a bike that he's getting paid a full year's worth of money to ride, but he only rode it for 8 weekends. Well, 9 if you count the one where he crashed, 10 if you count with the other one he crashed.
Right.
So he's going to get his full paycheck for the year for riding the bike 10 weekends, man. Again, this is why some of these contracts need to be combed over very, very with a fine-tooth comb, man, because you can't allow these kind of things to happen. Like, there should have been provision in there that if you don't ride the bike this many times, you can't get out of this contract. Because I'm not saying he hurt himself on purpose, but maybe this healing process is taking a little bit longer because I don't want to get on that bike. So
healing process.
My shit still hurts.
He hurt himself 3 different times.
I wasn't there. Were you there? I only saw 2 of them. The third one, we took his word for it.
What is it, when he was training, and then we saw the last one in Qatar.
Yeah, so we saw 2 of the 3.
Yeah.
And the third one, the one nobody saw, is the one he said was the worst one.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
man, it's a bad situation.
No, I go ahead.
He's painted himself into the corner that his next ride might be his last ride. Let's put it that way. So unless he can pull a miracle out of his ass, whether he goes with Yamaha or Honda, it might be the last contract, because I don't see a home for him at KTM because they might not be in GP. I don't see a home for him ever again at Aprilia. That's a definite.
Right.
I don't see a home for him at Ducati.
Yeah. Reese, would you guys take Jorge Martin after what you know? Is it worth it to have a rider like that on a second Yamaha? And if so, satellite or factory bike? Because he's a factory rider now, even though he's only done 1 race in a factory gear. I mean, like, if you're Honda, wouldn't you just sign him to HCR? I mean, like, why would you give him a factory seat?
No, I agree 100% with Lewis. I mean, I'd rather take the bum on the street over here. You know, at least I know he'll probably be loyal because he'll try to work and keep that money. Probably, maybe we just got to keep him out of the liquor cabinet. But Jesus Christ, I mean, he's pretty much burning seats right now.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like Lewis said, it's not a good look. Some riders are completely dumb. Their ego's in their way, and I just think he's making a huge mistake on wanting to jump from a seat to a bike that he has not given the full potential to. He has not done anything for that bike yet. And Lewis said, he's getting a full paycheck for a whole year, and he hasn't even rode a year yet. You know, it looks Yamaha's not going to take him because they already had that incident with Vinales. They had that incident with him. So I doubt they're going to take him and deal with that again. Honda throwing him a boatload of money, but you're going to a bike that's still not even developed, nowhere near. And I think he's just following his boy, Alexis Spargo, and just going with him, trying to say, oh, you need to come over here. They got more potential, and they got this, and they got this, and they got that. And you need to sit and weigh your options and figure this out. You know, you're not looking at a big picture as a whole as a rider. You're just looking at what it is for me now. And I blame a lot of, the younger generation now. They're worrying about what can you do for me now, not for the long run. And it goes that way. And Schultz was, I love Schultz to death. That's like my brother. That's like a friend of mine. When he left Superbike, he wanted to be on a Superbike so bad that second year after winning the Super Sport. But in a long run, it was better for him to stay another year in the Super Sport. A lot of people don't know that. It was better for him. And then when he started sitting down looking at everything, he was like, it is. Why? You stay one more year, you can be and help develop an R9 and to bring up Blake. You are now a Yamaha boy almost for life.
Yep.
You are a Yamaha boy for life. He would have left, went that 1 year, got a Superbike guy for 1 year, not finished. Guess where you'd have been? Probably out the door, because it's going to be in your contract to say, okay, we'll give you this, but you need to finish top 3 or top 4 overall better. So if you don't finish in that thing, now what you gonna do? Now you sitting stuck looking stupid, going home like Lewis said. Like, dang, why am I not there? Why am I? Figure out play the long ball.
Yep. Why am I watching Netflix again?
play the long ball, man. Play that long game, man, and help develop this.
That's one of the things. What Reese just said is one of the things that's missing right now is that factory guy mentality. Like right now, if you look through the paddock, there's only a couple of guys that have that I want to be the factory guy mentality. Like I think Zarco is one of those guys that has that I want to be a factory guy mentality. Like I'm taking this second fiddle role, but I want to be a Honda guy from here to the end of my career. Like this is where I want to be, and like he was saying also, the fact that Aleix Espargaro is the test rider for Honda and he has such a strong relationship with Martin, even though he says he's not involved in it, I guarantee you when they were out riding bicycle together, he was like, hey, by the way, Honda's doing this and Honda's doing that and Honda's doing this. Oh, and by the way, I rode that Aprilia for a long time and that shit box has only gotten so much better. Whereas I've been with Honda this short period of time, and this is what they've done in the short period of time I've been here. They've done this, they've done this, and this. They changed the entire team. They're doing more of the development in Europe. They're doing this. Like they're really invested in trying to get back to the top of the pile, not just compete, but to be winners.
So it's Aleix's fault.
So yeah, it's Aleix's fault. It's always Aleix's fault, man. You know what, man? It's those damn wild card dudes, man. They always fucking shit up.
Telling you, man.
But you know what they say? It's not about what you know. It's about
who you know.
And that's what he knows.
And if Aleix was the one that told him, hey, I'm leaving Aprilia, you should take this seat.
Right.
Since Ducati's not going to be there. And then Aleix left, went to become a Honda test rider. And I'm sure Aleix turned around and be like, hey, by the way, man, this Honda's actually way better than that Aprilia. And it's only going to get better. Oh, and by the way, they got a ton of money here that Aprilia doesn't have. You want some? I could talk to somebody. I know some people.
Yeah. So do you think that Aleix wasn't as happy as he acted on Aprilia? Because he seemed like he was very grateful up until leaving, and it does seem like a Aleix move to bring Martin, because how is Martin's going to know if Honda is the best bike for him?
Yep. He don't know. It's Aleix over there. Aleix is over there talking and up and bringing like, come on over. I'm like, dude, no, I'm gonna stay right here. If I stay right here, I got a longer career. I go to Honda, just like Rossi said to his half brother. You go to Honda, that's your death sentence. That's gonna be your death sentence. That's gonna be the death of your career. And guess what? Martin's on the death of his career.
Yeah. And Aprilia too. I mean, I guess Aprilia was in a weird situation because no one wanted to be on Aprilia when Aleix went on. So it was kind of a win-win, I think, for both of them, because they couldn't get any other riders really, and Aleix probably wouldn't have gotten a ride somewhere else, or at least a factory seat somewhere else.
I mean, I feel like it's such a battle of also like business, like your time and like timing for these contracts. You got to get in while the contract's still available. Like these guys are sending out contracts. There's rumor mill if they're going to sign Acosta to Honda, this guy to Honda, Toprak to Honda. At one point, they were thinking about that. So I feel like there's so much rumors going around that Martin's also in a predicament where he's like, I got to get this thing right now. I got to see Honda. I got to get this off right now. I can't even wait till mid-season. So in that sense, I'm like, I see where he's coming from, just trying to do it now. But damn, man, I wish you would have just given it more time to be like the people's champ. You know what I'm saying? So
go ahead.
It's just like basketball. It's just like any sport in college. You're doing so much. So now your stock has risen, right? His stock risen coming from Ducati. But now you're doing this stupidness right here. And you're not even giving you just want to back out of your team because you yourself is not performing. So now guess what? Your stock is just dropping. Your stock is completely dropping.
Risen is probably the only reason they put that contingency in his contract, because he's the A rider.
Right. Correct. That's the only thing they could have did. That they have the balls in their court because he won the championship. So they can do what they want. They can say, yo, no, we want this and this. Now you pretty much don't have no ball in your court. You almost going to take your ball and go home because nobody else is going to want you, because it's like all you're going to do is back out of our team. Like Lewis just said, you're going to try to put this in your contract. No, we're not going to do that. Like, you're going to have to do this and this for us. If you don't do this, you're going to be out the door. So he's pretty much on his last leg right now.
Yeah, Martin, wherever he ends up, he's got to commit to a long-term commitment to that brand because he's running out of options.
Yeah, right.
And I think the winner in the whole thing, when it's all said and done, is actually ends up being Bezzecchi because Bezzecchi now is the A rider on the team. Even when Martin comes back, Bezzecchi's still technically the A rider because they know that Martin's not sticking around.
Yeah.
So, and this is an opportunity for Bezzecchi to raise his stock because remember, Bezzecchi went there as the B rider, didn't have a great year last year, so he would kind of went in there with no expectation. They probably got him on the cheap because he didn't go in there as, the reigning world champion. He went in there as the reigning 8th place guy.
Hey, listen,
or 9th place guy.
They gave Martin so much money that Vinales is like, y'all ain't got enough money for me. I'm out.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Didn't they? I think they opted not to re-sign him versus him leaving. Left.
No, they were. I don't know. They from what Massimo was saying that they wish they would have handled it differently. I don't think they thought he was going to react the way he did.
What? Vinales not react?
He reacted the way at Yamaha. He tried to blow up the bike on the freaking track.
Right.
He's reacted that way. He's the Jorge Martin minus the championship.
Hey, listen, he did say he'll slap a mofo. They just didn't believe him.
They gonna slap him right out the seat of that bike and slap him on home.
Okay, we talked about all these other riders except for Marquez, and Pecco. They're in Aragon this weekend. Marquez, out of all the riders still in MotoGP, has the most wins there. Should Marquez just be 2 seconds slower up in pace and just finish the weekend and collect the points, or you think he's gonna go as he's been going, balls out?
I mean, if he's slower, maybe that might prevent Aleix from going crazy and taking someone else out, cause another red flag to them going, But I don't know, man. Mark's gonna do what Mark does best, and I think if anybody, I'd say Alex is gonna be right there with him.
Okay.
Pecco, if he can get up and get going, Crash, maybe not so much. Yeah, I mean, he's still due for some DNFs, right? He's still due for some DNFs. So
he's got about 4 more left in him.
Yeah. So the season's not over yet. So
he's got about 5 sprints that he won't finish.
The season's not over, but Bagnaia has the pole record. Marini has the fastest pace. Bastianini got the top speed. Where we're looking at, and Marquez is the only, beside Lorenzo, is the only 2 Spaniards with records at Aragon. So it does seem like the Italians versus the Marquez brothers.
Until they put a Spaniard on the Italian bike, then they lost.
Bastianini is on a wrong bike. Marini is lost in the sea somewhere. So, I mean, the only one you got left is the 2 Marquez brothers. And Pecca is going to be either a DNF or bitching about something that's on the Marquez's bike. Yeah, something.
I think it's going to be the Marquez's show. However, I think Quartararo is coming in with a big chip on his shoulder, man. And that's a long back straightaway. The Yamaha is not going to benefit from that long back straightaway. If it's in the front, it's going to get eaten up. But if he can pace himself, either get away and break the draft, so put on some crazy lap times in the beginning of the race. If he can start towards the front and get away like he did at Silverstone, I think Quartararo is the guy that's coming in there with the biggest chip on his shoulder, man. Okay, I think Bezzecchi will do well because he's coming in fresh off a win, so he's on his win high. But I think Quartararo is the guy that's coming in there flipping tables and kicking chairs and I'm gonna start doing some crazy shit to get to the front.
I agree with you there, guys. I mean, I think it's the Marquez brothers. I think Pecco has a shot to be there. Bez has a chance to be there. Morbidelli, because he was close to getting on the podium in the main race. Is what I'm leaning towards as well. I think it's going to be those guys. But you never know. I mean, it's MotoGP, and that's the crazy part. Zarco could be there again. He's had 2 podiums. Maybe this is a 3rd one for him, back to back to back. So there's at least 6 guys that can get on the podium in 2 races.
Yeah. For sure.
Oh, don't forget Aldeguer, man. Aldeguer is right up there in the front, man. If the Marquez brothers can tow him along, like it might be an all Spanish podium.
Yeah.
It might be a lockout. It might be a Ducati Spanish lockout, which the Ducati riders will love and hate at the same time, which I will love because they love and hate it at the same time. They love that Ducati won. They hate that all Spaniards were on it.
Right. There's a separation that can happen, you know.
I'm waiting for Italy when it's a full Ducati podium with all Spanish riders. And just watch the confusion on all the Italians' faces. Like, wait, am I supposed to cheer?
Wasn't that
or am I supposed to boo?
What year was that Lorenzo won, right? Because he went on a duck at Mugello, didn't he?
2018?
2018?
Was it 2018? Yeah, man.
Yeah, it might have been 2018. Him, Petrucci, and Rossi.
Yeah.
But yeah, like it'll be man, that's what I pray for every night, man. First race in Italy, all Ducatis, ridden by all Spaniards, and just the camera turns to the audience.
Oh, and just
and they got watch the confusion on the faces of all the Italians.
Lewis, man, aren't you Italian?
No.
we don't know what Lewis is. Lewis is just.
I keep that a secret just in case ICE shows up.
There you go.
Thanks for telling me. Now I'm calling them.
I'll be all right.
You never snatching everybody up right here. Guys, I want to thank you for coming on tonight. I will plug all the sponsors. Actually, tell people how they can find you guys so they can chat you up on social media.
Yeah, for sure. It's just Cheetah740 on Instagram, YouTube. That's how you can find me, Cheetah740.
For me, it's Real Luis Ortega. Instagram, best way they find me out there. And that's about it, man.
You can find me on Instagram, ReCO63 on Instagram. And you can find me at Attack Performance.
There you go.
I'll see you at Laguna.
Oh, yeah. I'll be there. We'll be there. And we try to be number one there.
Better be. I'm showing up.
As you show up and we win, I want a dinner too.
I know. Last time I showed up, you guys did good.
All right, shit, that could work. I want to thank you guys for coming on. It's the Be Forever Cool podcast. My name is Rex45. Peace.
Actually,